When you make games, what's your reason? Before you answer, let me just say that because it's fun is not an answer that I'll accept. Even if that's true, game dev is such a giant combination of different disciplines that it's likely there are some parts of it you probably don't enjoy as much, and yet you still do it anyway. Why? Why is it fun to you? Go ahead and leave your answer down in the comments. I think it'd be interesting to hear different perspectives, and it could also be a nice little reminder for anyone to read through who might be trying to rediscover their why. The truth is that there are plenty of reasons not to make games. It's difficult, time-consuming, and sometimes stressful. Then, when you're ready to share what you've made, that can also be scary. But the fact that you still choose to do it anyway tells me that there's another side that outweighs these difficulties. That exact reason is going to be different for everyone, and I'll come back to that. But what might even be more important than the why itself is figuring out how to protect it. I've seen so many times in different videos and podcasts that if you're feeling burnt out or stuck on how to move forward with an idea, it can help to step away and take a break. But I don't think that's the whole picture. I used to do freelance for a living, and I gave myself many breaks, but I never felt rested after any of them. I was constantly stressed because even though I wasn't physically working 24/7, it felt like I was because I never actually gave myself permission to take the breaks I was having. I always had this lingering feeling of guilt when I wasn't working, and over time, this wore me out so much that I had to stop doing freelance. At the time, I didn't understand why I was so tired and stressed, but none of my time off was guilt-free. If you're going to take breaks, and you should, make sure to give yourself permission to do so. No thinking about how far you wish you were on your project or when it needs to be done by, because that's something that you plan for before taking time off, not in the middle of it. When you're making your schedule, plan for your breaks. For a while, I also had this idea that I was most efficient when I had a burst of inspiration to work on my project. Because of this, I would often wait until I felt really inspired to work. But that burst of energy I was waiting for didn't come around all the time. Even if I was incredibly efficient when I was working, I wasn't working on my project very often, which meant that progress was very, very slow. What I came to realize is that I had this sequence of events in my head where first I get inspiration, then that lets me work. When in reality, I've come to realize that when I set aside time to work on my game, inspiration is what often follows the work. When I sit down to add a new feature or work out a bug, even if I don't want to at that moment, as I start to write some code or make a sprite or troubleshoot an error, I start to get inspired to keep working. More ideas come, and I start making progress that I otherwise wouldn't have made if I were still waiting for the inspiration to come first. Inspiration is what follows work, so don't wait for it. But sometimes, what we really need is a reminder of why we started game development in the first place. When you're deep in a large project, it can be easy to lose sight of that reason. If you ever find yourself in that place, go make something small, just for you. Don't worry about deadlines or what other people will think of it, but instead, make something tiny that makes you happy just for the sake of creating it. Forget about goals because you don't even need to finish this game. Instead, focus on reconnecting with that simple joy that got you interested in game development in the first place. That feeling of making something out of nothing. For me, that feeling goes back a long time. When I was little, I really wanted to learn how to draw. This might come as a surprise based on some of my more recent creations, but at the time, I couldn't picture doing anything else. Even though I didn't know any techniques, I didn't know about shading or perspective or color theory, I just loved the idea of creating something out of a blank canvas. I was going through my things recently, and I came across some of my old work. You can see how young I probably was when I made these. They're simple, messy, and although they're not impressive, I was proud of them. Every one. I didn't make them to impress anyone. I made them because I wanted to make them. A few years later, what I wanted to do when I grew up changed a little. I traded in my colored pencils and colored glue for regular pencils and a keyboard. My interest in drawing faded a little bit, and in its place, storytelling. I remember coming home from school and heading straight for the computer to type out the next chapter in any of my multiple stories I was working on. Those stories are now lost to time, but their impact on me, through their creation, lives. It's funny how that happens without you even realizing that it's happening most of the time. But as time went on, a pattern started emerging. Eventually, I started high school, and for a period of time, I didn't draw anymore, and I also stopped writing my stories as well. Being an artist or an author were no longer things that I saw in my future. Like most people in high school, I didn't know what that thing was. That is, until I took a class on video production in my junior year. I didn't sign up for it because I was interested in making videos. I just did it for a credit and because my friends were taking it. I even remember being a week or two into the class and reading the material thinking, who would ever choose to be a camera person for a living? But as the class went on and we started learning about different camera techniques and editing, my view slowly started to change. I realized that there were a lot more to it than pointing a camera at a subject and hitting record. This was storytelling, and this was art. It felt like I found the thing that I didn't even know I was searching for when I wanted to be an artist or an author years ago, because through making videos, I could be both. And so that's what I did for years after. I spent so much time trying to grow, making bad videos and learning from them, and I even made some new friends along the way too. I would try out new ideas and see if they worked, and even when they didn't, I didn't care because I was doing the thing that I felt like I was made to do. I couldn't believe that something existed that so perfectly blended my interests. It felt like I struck gold, like I hit 1 in a million. Until it happened again. When we sit down to make games, we're creating something that so many artists and storytellers in the past could only dream about. Not only are we world building, we're creating a world that's completely interactive for other people to explore. There's a reason why it's so difficult. It's a huge task, but it's worth it. We live in a time when it's possible for anyone to learn how to do it using free software and resources. It took me some time to realize it, but maybe it wasn't the drawing that led me to want to be an artist when I was little. Maybe it wasn't the writing that made me want to be an author. After looking back, I think I just wanted to create something that other people could enjoy and experience. And that's why I'm learning how to make games now. So, what about you? What's your reason? Thanks for watching. If you want to keep this conversation going, feel free to join our Discord server with the link in the description. That's where we hang out, share our projects, and get feedback. I hope to see you over there, and keep learning.